like a great flood, where no waves are stirred because of its being dried up. The Vijnana system in its various forms ceases to work when there is the annihilation of the Manovijnana. The simile of the wave on the ocean is often used, and how the wave must stop identifying with the wave and identify instead with the ocean. But here, we want even the ocean to be dried up. I remember a book I read as a boy by the artist and designer William Morris called The Well at the World's End. It was a rambling medieval fantasy. I can't remember much of it, except one scene near the beginning where the hero, who's a rather naive knight-errant, possibly fashioned after Cervantes' Don Quixote, is attending a theatrical performance, and in the course of the drama the fair maiden gets captured, and our heroic knight, not realizing that this is a play, jumps onto the stage, battles the heroine's abductor, and endeavours to free her. I remember at the time, and this is probably why I remember this scene, this is the only incident I remember from the 2 volumes of the book. I remember thinking this was a bit far-fetched. How could anybody be this stupid? But I suppose if you'd never seen a drama before, if this was the first time you'd seen a play performed, you wouldn't realise that distinction between play and reality. You haven't learnt to step back from it. And it comes to mind now because this is the situation we're in. We are caught up in a drama, believing it to be real, and in doing so miss the point altogether. A particular understanding has sucked us in. This is the Vijnana system. This is the system of cognition. We believe in the reality of our thoughts. We believe in the reality of our perceptions. And this is what we invest our entire being in. And this investment is courtesy of this Manovijnana, what's called the defiled consciousness, which is just our ordinary mind. And what needs to be annihilated here isn't so much this mind itself. Well, actually it does need to be annihilated. It does need to be annihilated, because what it is it's this pull towards believing that its own constructions are reality. Now the thing is then, how do we annihilate this discriminating mind? How do we annihilate its pull? Well, first of all, the best practice at any time is to come back to realization of the true nature of your own awareness. This is always the first thing. But once there, we have to look at what's pulling us away from it. We have to look at what there in the world is attracting us. What is there in the world which is claiming our devotion? What hopes do we have? What are we looking for? What are we emotionally investing in? And it might not even be things out there in the world. It might be belief systems. We might have passionate feelings about politics or religion, or about social justice, all that kind of thing. Again, there's nothing wrong with engaging with that sort of thing, because you're still going to carry on acting in the world, perhaps even more effectively and efficiently, because you're not impassioned by it. So there's tremendous scope here for self-inquiry, for observation on all levels of your psyche. As verse 27 says, these things are empty, without self-nature, and unborn, like Maya, like a dream, and their being and non-being is unobtainable. So they are empty. They have no intrinsic substance, no intrinsic reality. They're like objects in a dream. It's like a mountain in a dream. If you're having a dream where you're talking to a geologist, that geologist will tell you how that mountain formed. Perhaps it's volcanic, or perhaps it arose from the crushing of two tectonic plates or something. Is that where that mountain came from? Is that how it was birthed? So Maya is the power of delusion, which leads us to believe this. But it's like a dream. That mountain came into being, intact with its whole history at the moment of the dream, and it only apparently came into being. Its being and non-being is unobtainable. We can't actually describe it as either being or non-being. These are the fundamental discriminations that our mind makes. Does something exist or doesn't it? If it did exist, then it must have come into being. This is a discriminating mind at work. Can we let that go? Can we see how everything we regard as reality as being of the nature of dream? And can we see the power of Maya operating, which inclines us to believe in that reality? I remember trying to develop some awareness in dreams once, and the method I'd used was to look for something abnormal and then realise that this must be a dream. And in the dream I was jumping very, very high, almost as high as the first story of a house. And I thought, this must be a dream. I can't jump, I shouldn't be able to jump this high, but look at me, I'm jumping so high here, I'm almost flying. But I found it so hard to believe it was a dream. This is the power of Maya. Logically I knew it must be a dream, but I just found it so hard to bring myself to accept that this was a dream. And it clearly was a dream. But at the time, I found it extremely difficult to accept, and in fact deep down part of me didn't believe it was a dream. So this is what we're up against. Can we not only see how everything is of the nature of a dream, but can we also be aware of the power, that power which tells us otherwise? This is the power of Maya. It's the power of consciousness.